Hi there, it's Donna from Taffy Crafting, and today I want to show you how easy it is to put together a sidestep card. And I've got a really simple design just with some simple layering and a simple sentiment. So if you are a beginner crafter and you want to have a go at making this, I promise you it is really simple. One cut line, 3 or 4 score lines, and then all you need to do is put your layers on. So if you're new to paper crafting and you like nice, easy to follow tutorials, if you haven't already subscribed to me, hit that subscribe button, and while you're there, ring the bell and you'll get notified of all tutorials that I put on YouTube. I try and put on 2 a week. The day job's quite demanding, so I do try and do 2 a week if I can. And also there's my blog. I've left a link to my blog in the description bar that goes directly to this project, and you can subscribe on there as well. And I try to blog 3 or 4 times a week if I can. So let me show you how to put this together. So this, I've used the Flowers for Every Season paper, and I'm going to do the same, but just using slightly different paper. So this is the paper stack. So that's the one that I've used for that project, and I've used that one because I liked the back of it, and so I just used one piece of that to create that. But I still want to use the blue design. That's a little bit bright. No, I used that for something the other week, but you can see just how beautiful and vibrant this paper stack is. Something for everybody. This is probably my favourite. Absolutely love that. But I think actually we're going to go with that, because just because it's got the blue in there, and it's got another nice selection of colours as well. So that's what we're going to go for. But just give you an idea of what else is in that paper stack. So pretty. And another one of those. Something for everybody, whether you like bright colours or maybe just slightly muted. There are some really bright designs in here. Super bright designs, but I think I'm pretty much decided I'm going to go with that. Now, to go with that, I have a piece of Misty Moonlight cardstock, because that is the colour that we've got in here. So that's what I wanted to use as my contrast colour, but you could go with the Magenta Madness, Bumblebee, Just Jade. It's entirely up to you. We've got a very, I don't know what pink this is in the back. It could be petal pink. Not entirely sure, but you can use whatever you like. There's no rules on this, but you do need a piece of card. And this card is going to measure. This card will measure 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches. So I'm using my trusted paper trimmer for this. Wouldn't be without this piece of kit. So 8.5, so I'm just going to line that up there at 8.5. And once I've got that lined up, and this is at the top of the paper trimmer there with the blade. So there we have it. Now, start off with the short side. So I'm just going to do this nice and slowly. Start off with the short side, and you are going to put that in your paper trimmer at 2 3/4, because that is at the halfway point. Put your blade up to the top and put the guard down. No, actually, you're not going to put your blade at the top. You're going to put your blade at the 1 inch. So there's some measurements on here. This is what I love about this paper trimmer. Put it onto the 1 inch mark and then put the paper guard down. And what you're going to do is bring from the 1 inch mark down to the 5 1/4, which is here. Pressing down nice and slowly. Don't rush it, otherwise you'll go shooting off the end. Nice and slowly. Difficult to see because I'm filming here late at night. So about 5 1/4. Okay, and then you're going to lift that out. So that's what you're left with. That's the only cut that you have to make. So once you've got the right size piece of card, that's the only cut you have to make. Now, if you don't have a paper trimmer, you could do that with a ruler and a craft knife. It's entirely up to you. So here we've got a gap of 1 inch, and here we have a gap of 3 1/4. So this is what we're going to do. So you're going to decide at this point whether you're going to have your steps on this side or on this side. Where this is 1 inch is the front. So I'm going to put my steps on this side. It really doesn't matter. So for the step side, you are going to line up. Let me just show you where that is. You're going to line up at 1 inch, which is where our score started. And you are going to score up to, from the top, up to that cut line. And don't worry if it goes a little bit over, it really doesn't matter. Your next score, you're then going to go across to 2 inches. So with the scoring tool, you're then going to go up to that cut line again, like that. And then your next score is at 5 1/4, which is at the end of your cut line there. Okay, so you've done that on one side of this cut line. You'll turn it, and then you'll put the edge of your paper to 4 1/4, which is halfway. And so here are your score lines for your steps. This is where the score line is just going to go up to the cut, and you're just going to score up to that cut like that. Now, I don't know if you can see that, but this is what you're left with. So where you've got the 1 inch is the front of your card, and you've got some scores on this side at 1 inch, 2 inches, and then at 5 1/4, and then here you just have a score at 4 1/4. So this one, this is where it gets a bit tricky. This is going to be, so this is the 4 1/4 one, that's going to be a mountain fold. So the fold pops upwards like that, looks like a mountain. On this side, at this 1 inch mark, that is a mountain fold. The next one, the 2 inch one, is a valley fold. It's a V, V for valley. And this one is a mountain fold, like that. So then when you put this together, you fold it and then get your bone folder, whoops, which I can't pick up, get your bone folder and then just burnish those score lines like that. So when you have that, you're then ready to put the layers on it. So we're going to put some layers here, we're going to put one in here, and then we're going to put one here as well. The alternative is that you could put a nice long layer on along there and then put another layer here. It's entirely up to you. So this is how I'm going to layer this up. So the layers for this bit, you want 2 pieces of DSP. So it's from the same paper stack. It's from the same piece of DSP. It's just the reverse of that. So that measures 2 5/8 by 4 1/8. And then you want another piece of that, but you're going to use this side, and that measures 2 1/2 by 4. And I'm going to just stick that onto there like that. So the yellow, this bumblebee colour, provides a nice contrast, and I'm just going to use liquid glue for that. So the smaller piece will go onto the big piece. I'm using liquid glue, but you could use tear and tape if you wanted to. Or we don't have snail anymore. It's called stamp and, oh, I can't remember what it's called. Is it called stamp and seal? I can't remember. When you're filming at 11 o'clock at night, it just all goes out of the window. And then we are just going to stick that layer, those 2 layers there, onto there like that. So this project, just while I'm doing this, this is part of, which I should have said at the start of the video, this is part of Share It on a Sunday. And I do this with Crafty Karen Designs and Vicky Lou Designs. Crafty Karen Designs, she has a blog and a YouTube channel. Please go and check her out. And Vicky Lou Designs, she has a blog. And every week we set ourselves a challenge. So we're normally a month or two ahead, although I tend to do mine the night before. And so this theme was Fun Fold Floral. That was my idea this time, to do a fun fold floral. So there's the first one. So the next thing we're going to do is this layer in here. And you need, again, 2 pieces. And I'm just going to use the same design. So 2 pieces. The first layer is 2 5/8 by 3 1/8. And your other layer is 2 1/2 by 3 inches. So I've got those pieces there ready there, like that. So the glue back on it. All of the dimensions that I've given you for these layers, they are all on my blog post. Don't worry about frantically writing them all down. Although I have to say, when I watch anybody else do a tutorial, I'm always writing down the measurements as they're talking. But there is a blog post if you need it. So now that one fits. Actually, let's just open it up. That's going to fit in there like that. So as long as your measurements are accurate, you can easily put this together. It just needs a little bit of confidence. And maybe the first time you do it, just use a scrap of card, something that you're not going to use, or perhaps a retired piece of cardstock, or just a back of a cornflake packet if you wanted to, just for you to practice. I prefer to do that, and then I don't think that I've actually wasted anything. So the next thing I'm going to do, I now want a piece for here. And this needs to measure, I've got 2 pieces, one that measures 7/8 of an inch by 2 5/8. So this is a tricky measurement here, 7/8 by 2 5/8. And then one that's slightly smaller, it does get more tricky now, which is 3/4 of an inch. Oh, that moved. I think we're safe though. I think I was very lucky there. By 2 1/2 inches. And then I'm just going to stick that on there like that. So I'm not doing anything fussy, not doing anything complicated here. If you like simple, straightforward designs, you might look around YouTube and think there are some very complicated designs on there. And more often than not on my channel, I'm just doing nice, basic designs. So please come along and hit that subscribe button if that's the type of project that you want to do. I don't rush through my tutorials either. They're usually longer, but if you want to go through things nice and slowly, then that's what I will do for you. So there are the layers. So it's very floral, isn't it? Very, very floral, very in your face. So what I'd like to do now is create a sentiment for this. And what I'm going to do is use the story label punch, which is this one, which is now catching the light of my lamp and of my camera. And I'm going to see if this fits in here. Oh no, I found a bigger bit. So I've just got a piece of this scrap here, and I'm just going to cut, or punch rather, that out like that. So I'm hardly wasting any DSP here. And that's going to sit on there like that. But before I do anything with that, you could if you wanted to, and hang on a minute, let's just hold on a minute. I'm wondering, you know me, I like to change things partway through a project. No, that we're going to use that. We're going to use that, definitely. Now, before I do anything with that, I need to slice it in half. So get your paper trimmer. Now, a paper trimmer will be your best investment in paper crafting, without a doubt. It just makes accurate cuts and scores and just makes all the difference to your projects. Totally recommend you having this in your kit. So I've just sliced that in half like that. But I'm still going to keep this. I'll show you what I'm going to do with that in a second. So with the card, we are just going to stick that down like that, but with a gap in between. All will be revealed in a second. So get your glue, and you may have seen me do this before if you are a regular viewer to my tutorials. You would have seen me do this before. So I'm just going to put that on there, and this is where wet glue really is really helpful, because you can reposition it while it's still wet. Get on that on there. You just want a gap, nothing too big, because what we're going to do once we've stamped on this, we just put that on there like that, and we just get a nice border around it with a bit of contrast. Now I'm going to stamp on that in Misty Moonlight, which is a beautiful, beautiful blue colour. And the stamp set that I'm using is Itty Bitty Greetings. It's a 2-part stamp set, and I'm using, where is it? Best Wishes from All of Us. It's got some good sentiments on here. Happy anniversary. We've got some religious ones in there as well. Fabulous at any age. Hey friend, celebrate for you. Shower with love. Lots and lots of happy graduation. Congratulations. Hope you're feeling better. Lots and lots of different things that you could use. So I've got Best Wishes from All of Us on my block. Get my Misty Moonlight ink. Gentle tap. Just a gentle tap. Don't need to press hard. And line it up and stamp it on. Now I'm going to stick this down using mini dimensionals, which are stuck to the packet. Goodness me. Let's turn that round. And I'm going to be super frugal with these, and we're going to have 3. Most crafters aren't as frugal as me with these things, but I like them to last. So what this does, this just raises them a little bit. Now, it's a little bit tricky to get this absolutely exact, but you want this edge here to match this edge there, and then equal distance between those 2 layers. It is a bit tricky. Take your time, because once these things are down, they're going nowhere. So there we have that. Now it does need something else. Because of this gap here, I don't like it. I don't like the gap there. So what I'm going to do is just cover that with some flowers. You don't have to, but I've got the small bloom punch, and all I'm going to do is just punch out a couple of these. I'm not even going to use a stamp. And I'm just going to bend up the petals like that, and I'll be putting them one on top of the other. So with and you have to use wet glue for this, because you need to move it. Now I usually use my tweezers for this, and they've gone walkabout. There they are. You don't have to use tweezers. I just prefer to use it, and you just want the petals to offset against each other like that. So let's just press that down, and while I'm waiting for that to dry, I want to get a gem. I've got over here. I'll find a nice big gem. No, that's not going to work. So I've got these are faceted gemstones, and I want just a medium size one there. And I'm just going to put that in there like that, just so we've got a little bit of bling. And Then what we're going to do, hopefully that's dry, I just want to put that there, and it just covers up that join, so it saves any complicated measurements for an L-shaped piece of paper. I can't be doing with that. My brain won't cope. Oh, my little gemstones come off. So I think I'm going to have to glue that down because it's misbehaving, as things always do when I'm filming. There's always something that happens. Could use a mini glue dot if you wanted to, just the back of that has come off. I'm just going to press that down. We are almost finished with this card. Now, when we open the card, you've got that in between. You've got that inside, so you might just want to put some white cards on there if you wanted to, or some white paper. Just ordinary white photocopy paper will do it, or a piece of card. So that's going to go there, and I think I'm going to stick that down with a dimensional. I hope this works. We'll soon find out. And all the glue's all a little bit wet at the moment. You would wait until this has dried off before you start mucking about with it. And I'm just going to put that on there like I want to reposition it and it won't let me. That will do it. That will do. It's just fighting with me. And there you have it. A lovely, lovely, simple birthday card. You could embellish it more if you wanted to. If you have other punches or die cuts of leaves or flowers, then you might want to put those there if you want to make it a little bit more elaborate. It's totally up to you. But I'm keeping that at the simple stage for the beginner crafter. And I really hope that inspires you to just give it a go. I totally recommend the paper trimmer. The link to all the products I've used are in my blog, and so you can just click on those links. They'll take you straight to my shop. So thank you ever so much for joining me. I'm really grateful that you have sat and watched me craft this card, and I'll be back again soon with another project for you. Thanks again. Bye bye.